Witness history in the making. The McIntyre Mini Globe Race 2025. Small boat, huge adventure.
Well, good morning, everybody. Here we are at last. It's been a while, I know, and there's some reasons for that. It's been a bit hectic, to say the least. And we're still going on with that one. I didn't know what happened with our header there. It seemed to stall. Anyway, we're still here in Fiji. It's the 23rd of May, which is amazing. We still haven't worked on the boat. I'm stuck on my computer. Anyway, that's another story too. We've been really busy, and yesterday we finally got the press release out to all our subscribers everywhere, which are really quite cool. We got like 18,000 or something, because those subscribers come from all of our events, not just the MGR. So it comes from the GGR, the OGR, and here, and they still accept news on the MGR because it's quite a cool story. Anyway, yesterday was a busy day on the computer, and I completely forgot. We run inverters here. We're not plugged into the shore power. We could be, but we just don't worry about it because we've got the solar panels. We've only got two 150 watt panels, so there's only 300 watt there at 15 volts. And the sun's not quite in the right direction. It's coming directly athwartship, so directly on the side of the boat. So it's no point tilting the solar panels, because our solar panels, they tilt, they're in line with the boat. So if we look at the bow of the stern, I can tilt them just that direction only. I can't tilt them sideways into the sun, and the sun's coming from the side. So I haven't been worrying about it. Anyway, to cut a long story short, yes, they were doing the press release, and it was going on until late. And all of a sudden, the low voltage alarm went off, because I didn't keep up with that. So low voltage alarm, beep, 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 beep. I'm thinking, holy dooly, and it's night time now, and we're not on power, and Jane's scrambling. It takes a long time. It takes a few hours, and in fact, more than a few hours. So that, I suppose on average, it takes about 4 hours from the time I write the press release to get the photos up, get it in a format that works on the website, embed the photos, do the captions. Jane's got quite a bit of work there, and then put it up on MailChimp system and get the French translations and all this sort of stuff before you finally press the button. And she's halfway through, and I've got about half battery on my computer. Hers is dying. The low voltage alarm goes off, and we had to get it out, because I hate doing press releases on Friday. When we issue a press release on Friday, it's a real problem, because it's the end of the week, so people aren't passionate about it. And, of course, we've got to check, once I write the press release, Jane's got to check it. And she says, oh, you can't say that. You've got to put this in here and blah, blah, blah. So, we most of the day doing that, as well as an entrant update. We have to send an entrant update to the entrants, which started off as a few things and ends up in a whole page talking about, it goes to the managers and entrants. It's our official form of communication with all the entrants. Once they've got it in writing, it's there, then they can never deny that they've never been told. And they're all pretty good. And we've got another crisis management plan coming up with, or exercise coming up with the managers, and there's the preliminary draft program for everything here in Vuda Marina when they get here, so they know what to expect, and just a lot of stuff. So yesterday was busy, but when the voltage dropped, we thought, oh no, we won't get the press release out until the morning, till the sun comes up, But we just squeaked it in, and then even this morning I had a video conference with a guy from 7 o'clock. It's now 8 o'clock here, so that took an hour, 8:15. And so here we are. We're back to our program of updates. And, I've been a bit mixed up, exactly what time of the day is going to work. But I think it'll be, while we're here in Fiji, this is going to be about it. About 8 o'clock every morning. 8 o'clock my time here, which is exactly 8 p.m. at night time UTC. We're exactly 12 hours off UTC. So at the moment it'd be 8, so that's 2000 hours UTC, just after 2000 hours UTC. But whatever time you got now, that's what we're going to try and target. I can't guarantee it'll be exactly at 8 o'clock, because I might sleep in. Joke. But we'll try to do that, because at least I can get it out of the way and get it done. Although having said that, we want to start polishing the hull when I finally get back to working on the boat, and we'll start that at 7 o'clock in the morning. So once that starts, I might still have some issues because I've got to get it while the day is cool. And we're sick of mosquitoes. I've got mosquito bites all over the place. We've got mosquito screen up, but there's no such thing as paradise. That's our other favourite plan. Fiji's beautiful. Up here on the hard, you get a few mozzies at dawn and dusk and stuff. But it's pretty nice. So anyway, on that, I haven't looked at the tracker at all this morning. I just as I opened up, I saw the post from Jasmine. She's having a wow of a time, which is great. I love it when I see that stuff. But I was very envious. I thought, oh, cheapest. we're in a pretty nice paradise here, but yeah, they're having a lot of fun, and the emotions run high when you've been at sea. Like I can imagine what Jasmine's going through. She's been at sea for all this time, and then all of a sudden you hit there, and you've got all the people to welcome you, and then you've got all your connections with Rotary and all that sort of stuff, and it's sensory overload because everything's heightened. Like it's like when I don't drink, but it's like when you haven't had a hot, cold beer for a long time, and all of a sudden you get there and you have a cold beer. That first one is fantastic because you've been without it for so long. And so, but the other thing is, and it's not a girl thing. I'm not bringing this up because it's not a girl thing, because I see it in the guys too. I don't know what your impression is. We should run a score. We should have been running their weights. I think Erica's lost a fair bit of weight. They've all, not like me, I'm a bit of a bubble, but you can see they've lost weight off their faces. And there's a good weight loss program because they're living the life the way it's meant to be. Not like when you're at home in the office. You go every time you're working, you want a break, get up, straight to the fridge. It's a bit the same here in the fridge. What's to eat? Boom, go. But when you're at sea, it doesn't happen. And I'm seeing a physical change in our entrance, and I think even Jasmine's lost a bit as well. So, but they'll be feeling healthy for it. It's all part of the deal. Anyway, I digress. We've got a few people there now. G'day, Sienna. We'll get straight into the tracker, and hopefully everything works right. So yes, I only ended up with 10% battery this morning, but the sun has come up just a little bit, and it's now net positive on the voltage. So we went from, I got it up to, anyway, we're the alarm's not on, so we've got enough power to drive my computer and bits and pieces. The boat's a mess. I won't show you around here. But anyway. Okay, let's go. So you're on the tracker. Now I'm going to get on the tracker. So I'm on the tracker, and you should be hearing me. I've got to adjust this so you can see what's going on. We've got a few boats out there, and it's all looking fun. And there's absolutely some weather coming up dead ahead, but they're just going to miss it. It's going to go past them. And it's a little bit south of them. So here we all are. Put the wind on there. The internet's a bit slow, maybe. Oh, it's changed since last night. It changed a lot. Wow. So that's interesting. Anyway, let's go right back here and say good day to Mike and John. Hopefully they're on the latest ones, 1200 and 1600. That's not right. We've got a mix there. 2000. I don't know why they're so far back there. It should all be 2000. 2000. Gary's on 2000. Everyone's there, but the guys at the back of the fleet here are on a mixed bag of timelines. We'll check the date. 22nd. Yeah, that's right. So the distance is about right. So how far they got to go? Last night when the press release went out, it was about 500 miles, so 465. So still got a fair way to go. That's going to be 4 days. So another 4 days and they'll be in the Marquesas, and they'll be happy about that. It's quite an epic leg, as we all know, from Panama to Marquesas. It's quite something, but they'll be happy to get there. So this split is because they're on different timelines. John is showing 1200 UTC, and he was doing 4.7, 108 mile day. And Popeye 4.6, 113 mile day. So there is a bit of a split, but there's a 4 hour difference in position report, so they'll still be side by side. You may have seen the video that John put up. It's quite cool, but I wanted to see more. It's really quite a good cut. They did that cut on board. Just John put that together, and was a jeepers, check the way, and there was a couple there that were looking, good solid 4 meters in between the troughs and stuff. So they were having fun for sure, and doing quite well. They've had their own adventures. It's not that we haven't been focusing on them. We've been putting up any news we get, but there's a bit of a shortage sometimes from some boats on what's going on, and we're going to address that when they get to Fiji. I'm not going to do it online, but some of the entrants are very slow on their ability or whatever. Things happen. I mean, Renaud, for the whole leg, I forget which one it was, from Marquise to here or whatever, they only gave us like 5 photos or something, because his GoPro got damaged or whatever. But some of them, they're lacking the material, or we haven't been given it yet. So come Fiji time, we'll have another session on how they can do good shots and bits and pieces, and hopefully get some. But some of it, we got great stuff overall. We're getting really good feedback from the entrants, and they're telling their story really well, and we're a lot of people following, which is great. So I'll come back here a bit now and look at what they've got, but I'd say it's pretty well going to be trade winds. There's a day ahead if the internet catches up, but we won't see much difference there. It did click over, so yeah, they've got consistent weather for the next few days, so they're going to make good time and be there in about 4 days. Oh, one thing I saw, I don't know where you saw it, but I should have kept it. The wharf where they tie up in the first anchorage where they come in, there's the little breakwater on the wharf there. There's apparently that was in, now I'm confused. There's one spot there, was it Nuka Hiva, where a restaurant comes out and feeds the sharks every day. And I mean, it's a feeding frenzy, and they're not reef sharks. It's right where all the guys tie up their dinghies and stuff. Anyway, and there's like probably 12 big sharks on a feeding frenzy, and about sort of 20 meters along the wall is all the tenders there from the boats. So you wouldn't want to fall in. Anyway, I digress. So Gary down here, still heading towards Papeete, 4.8 knots and 110 nautical miles in the last 24 hours. He's happy. Great breeze there. You can see it's coming in. There's a gradient there, but there's breeze coming across the back. So he is now, this will be, people want to know, he's now about 130 miles out. So on that basis, he's a day and a bit. It's pretty cool. He'll be in. He'll be happy. He's slowly nailing them down, but he'll have a couple of people there maybe, and then we'll see what goes. He passed the comment. He's still not sure whether he's going to carry on from Fiji. I hope he does, but we're now staring down the barrel. Of course, if you've seen what's going on with Christian, I haven't heard anything direct yet. I haven't had a direct message from him what his decisions are and what he's going to do. But sadly, his infection is not cleared up. It's on the skin, and he's got an issue with his shoulder. So anyway, the ones with question marks going forward is Christian, Gary from Fiji, and Mike and Popeye from Fiji as well. So we might be back to a smaller fleet. Anyway, what's happened here? Dan Turk is on the hunt. He's still classified technically as in the lead group. And I'm pretty sure it looked like Jacob was the underwater man going cleaning bottoms of boats. I didn't see anyone else in the water, but I heard he cleaned a couple of other boats as well, so keeps them going. So Dan currently doing 4.8, happy with that, 71 miles, only because of the fact that he hasn't been out at sea for 24 hours. Peeler and Kerry's lost out to Peeler overall. As you know, with the pit stops, they hold their relevant position on the course once they get going again. Peeler's doing 3.7, 90 mile a day, timeline's right, and Kerry 4.6 knots and 100 mile day. So that's an interesting one to watch. Kerry want to stay ahead of Peeler, but there it goes. Peeler's actually got the wrong size electric autopilot on board, sadly, so she can't actually. We've let her use that to Fiji, but then she has to go back to getting a smaller size. We only allow the smallest possible electric autopilot, and she bought a new one, but sadly it was the next one up. It's a bit more powerful, a bit more reliable, and that's not we've got to keep it consistent. And there's the reason we have small ones is because you're not meant to rely on them. It's an aid, but that's why we restrict the solar panels, battery capacity, all that stuff. It's a boat, like TRAKER was, the original TRAKER, John Guswell. So they're having fun. And Dan, the holiday man, 4.8 knots, 97 mile a day. You can see they've got a lot lighter breeze there. And Renaud is doing 4.5, 107. Wow, there's a bit of a thing going on here. So he's pulled out 10 miles on Dan, and he'd be happy about that. So streaming ahead, but he's got 4 boats on his hammer from behind. I actually forget now where we stand. I'll try and look at that just as we're closing towards the finish of leg 2, getting into Fiji after Tonga. I will look at the split on where they were for the end of leg 1, because there's a few adjustments to make to determine the actual finishing positions overall once they get to Fiji, because it'll be interesting to see how it goes. But my attitude on all of this is that if you look at this now, the distances, there's about a day between Dan and Renaud on this section of leg 2, and there's like another day back to Peeler and Kerry. So there's 2 days behind, and if there's another day from leg 1 to be adjusted, there's only 3 days. Okay, 3 days, and you've still got 18,000 miles to go or something. It's not a big deal. They're still all in the hunt. They can hang on to the dream, and even towards the end, it's never over till the fat lady sings, because things happen on boats. It's what the nature is. So don't get, for those of you who are thinking, it's a bit boring, that super fast sailor Renaud out the front there, he never loses anything. How can they ever catch him? Don't worry, it's a long way to go. Nothing's fixed in stone, and the one person that knows that more than anyone is Renaud, because he's a racing sailor. He's seen it all before. So, but sometimes when you're at the back of the fleet, like Gary, you'd sort of think, Gary hasn't got a chance. But believe me, it's not the first time it's happened. So they're all having fun. So what's happening with the weather? Let's have a look here. I'm going to go right back because I want to show you. It's changed a bit. But anyway, right. There's been some 50 knot stuff forecast for 25th. It may be dissipating. But I'll come back here. Hang on. We'll start to roll it through. It's all going to come through and form up from this direction. So I'm going to slide this back a bit and just see where it's going. I've got to hit that and then get my keyboard over here. Okay, so we're now moving forward slowly. So you can see Renaud's getting a bit more, starting to get the breeze catch up to him up there, but it's been a bit quiet for the leaders. It's going to go quiet still for Dan and Peeler and Kerry now, but then by end of the day and into tomorrow, there we go, within 24 hours, it's starting to get consistent all the way across. So they'll move, but there's a bit of fluky stuff in the first 24 hours. So the second 24 hours, we got on the 24th. There's a few areas of instability there. So at least, the first thing I look at is the wind is blowing in the same direction. So hopefully there's not too many squalls, but it's still a bit patchy. And that's just remembering this is a vague computer animation from the data that's available. And there's not a lot of data out here. There would be some automatic weather stations down here in the Cooks and so on, Cook Islands, and certainly up here. But it's still some big holes, when you consider the weather, even though wind's coming this direction. The weather generally comes from east to west. It's being dominated by everything that's down further south, right? And those systems are going this way. Once you're past the other side of the Tropic of Capricorn, which is 23 and 3rd degrees of south, I think it is, then that's where the movement of the pressure systems are. And this is all a bit bland usually with trade winds, but it is affected. And you can see it's a bit patchy, so there might be squalls there to contend with, and we'll probably hear about that with their report. So moving along a bit, this is the big stuff that's forming up, and it's, as I've been saying about the weather, this is where you get, in fact, I'll give you a bit of a story here. If you come right back here, and you can see what goes on here, this is all highs and low pressure systems coming across. Okay, this is a big high pressure system here, and it's a very big one. We mentioned it the other day. It's still there, right? So that's where you're getting these southeasterly breezes of quite considerable strength because of the strength of this high pressure. And that's affected in its own right by these low pressures down here, right? You can get squash zones, squeeze zones, all that sort of stuff. So it sounds funny, but the Southern Ocean down here actually impacts what happens the next level here, which then comes up and impacts these what we call the consistent trade winds along the top, and the band of those trade winds is right on the Tropic of Capricorn, usually with 23 and a third degrees, I think. There's my low voltage alarm. Stand by. Sorry. Right. Oops. I don't know what's going on. I pressed the wrong buttons, but I'll turn the inverter off and we should have enough to get going. Sorry about that. I'll speed it up a bit. Battery saver is on. Oh, that's pretty cool. Okay, so yeah, so there's the that strange weather. Okay, I'm going to pick this up a bit, but it's all below them. But that's going to dictate what happens to them in the next couple of days. That's the 25th, so 2 days out. They've got some issues there going across, and you can see quite nasty. If this was up a bit, and it has been, and it can be up here. Here's Tonga over there. That's where they're going. So if they were 4 days ahead, they would be getting this. They'd have some big winds. And I checked on Windy. Some of this stuff down here that's forecast is forecasting winds of 35 to 40, gusting 50, 55, and sea state up around 5.5 meters. So they're all in a good position at the moment. They're just going to get solid trades, and then it's going to come from the north. So it'll be on the beam, and the sea state will pick up a bit, and so on. If we look at the waves there. So they're still running right along the edge of it, so they're okay. So they're in a good position. But it's good in a strange way to see some weather for a change, instead of just the trades. But this is where, so far so good. They're lucky. They're in a good spot. But you'll see what happens next if we go over here. It starts to get a big hole turn up then, and not much wind. So there's going to be the potential also for some headwinds here. In this position, you see there are only light headwinds, but it's starting to swing around, and on the other side, complete tailwind. So this is all forming up because this is turning into a low pressure system just south of them, and this is exactly what we talk about on this leg. So, but let's just see what goes. They'll tell us what they're getting, and we'll try and come back with regular ones. You can see there up here, very light winds. They've got to eventually come down to Tonga. Down here. So that's cool. Okay, I think we're done there. I'm going to speed this up a bit. We've seen everything we need to see. I come back here, and here I am. So I'll just have a quick check. So just remembering these are going to be the target time to do the updates. So back to late or mid-evening if you're in Europe. I have a question about the Bay of Aden. The Bay of Aden, would the boats be passing through there or their journey around the world? I'd have to have a look at that. I've got to remember my memory without sounding geographically impotent. I've got to remember where the Gulf of Aden is. So I can't give you an answer on that, but I'll try to next time. So remind me on the next one. G'day, Warren. G'day, Christine. Okay, so not a lot of people there with any questions, so that's cool. And have a good day. We'll get out of here and wait for the sun to charge up our batteries. Ooh, life is good. See you later. Okay.
There's history in the making. The McIntyre Mini Globe Race 2025. Small boat, huge adventure.
Okay.